Good evening, everyone. It's Tom Sydney Bushnell, aka Numbers, here from Sight Club, and I've got my buddy ISMAEL Perez with us. ISMAEL, how are you, mate?
I'm doing good. A bit cold, but I'm doing good. It's been raining for the last almost 3 weeks now, nonstop. Here in
Really?
California. Yeah, it's about 44 degree right now. This is very unusual for California because California is not known to be a very cold place. And from what someone told me, just about an hour inland, they got some snow here in California. So yeah, something's definitely brewing, brother. I mean, this is like very the weather is just so abnormal at this time right now, and I think it's taking place everywhere. It's not just
Yeah.
California.
I saw General Flynn in Idaho in September. I went to the Reawaken Tour event there, and I saw it. He was on the same plane as me, but I met him in the waiting lounge, and he said to me, he looked at me, he said, because I told him my string, he said, "Oh, it's going to be a very cold winter." And I think he was meaning everywhere, because it's been cold here, but I know you guys have had it a lot. And for you in California to have a lot of rain is, like you said, is highly unusual. That's very strange.
Very
So,
unusual. Yeah.
spring is on its way, though. I'm excited. March is just around the corner, which, in March, the clocks go spring forward again, and we get more daylight, and spring is coming. So I'm hopeful for that. Hopefully you start to see the sunshine this week, brother. That would be good.
I think it only came out in 3 weeks. The sun has only shined twice here in California. Other than that, it's
Wow.
been very, very cold and raining, and it's just nonstop. A lot of flooding around, some of the cities. A lot of flood warnings and stuff, mudslides, especially for those that live like around Malibu and around like hills and mountains. It's just been very, very dangerous.
Right.
But yeah, so
What with the
it's
mudslides, rock slides, yeah?
mudslides, really. It's just
Right.
because of the rain,
Yeah.
the heavy rain and stuff. So
Yeah. Wow. Well, we won't go into it in detail, but a bit of sunshine has come out of California in the last 24 hours. And the actor Woody Harrelson,
mhm.
people might have seen this on social media. I'm not going to say too much, but have a look on social media for Woody Harrelson on Saturday Night Live. I think patriots will appreciate what he's been saying. I met him at a at a London film premiere, London Film Festival, maybe 2017 or 2018, maybe even late 2019, can't remember. But he was a premiere with Colin Farrell, and it was the film Three Billboards from Ebbing, Missouri. It's an indie film. It's really quirky. I should rewatch it. I really liked it at the time. I think there's probably quite a few red pills in there. But anyway, what have you got for us today, my friend? What have you got for us? What should we talk about in terms of the galactic progress that we're going through, the bigger picture, giving all of our viewers faith, hope, and excitement for the future?
Well, things are looking good up in the galaxy. Like I mentioned before, the battle has been won in the galactic community. A lot of the regressives have been arrested, and they're just waiting to clean house here. And the only thing that we're dealing with is, the Dark Hats are in their last. They have nothing else left. They're in their last
Yeah.
day. They know that. So part of their overall agenda to, usher in this, what they call this, dystopian one world system controlled by technocracy, right? Technology, is to pretty much implement a fake alien invasion. They call it Project Bluebeam, but I have news for everyone. Project Bluebeam has been aborted a couple of years back. However, they're still trying to. They're using their own craft, as you know, within the shadow government. They do have, alien tech and stuff, and so they're using their own craft, and that explains the unidentified aerial phenomena that has been taking place in the last 2 weeks. Beginning with the balloons, of course, but those balloons were something else, and I'll explain why our own deep state actually launched those balloons. It's nothing to do with the big red, what I mean, country on the other side of the world. I don't want to
Yeah.
mention it. It starts with the C.
Yeah.
But this aerial phenomena was supposed to be the beginning stages of what they called the Project Bluebeam, the resurrected, rather, Project Bluebeam fake alien invasion. Their final card in order to usher in their, one government system for the whole planet. But the military that's been shooting these aerial ships down are actually the White Hats. They're the Space Force. The Space Force are not going to let that happen. And the Space Force they're in key position, working with the Galactics to make sure that the deep state does not succeed in pulling off this fake alien invasion. So, we're about to see disclosure take place. I say by spring, no later than summer. I mean, things are really looking good for humanity. We have can I say the word Epstein or no?
I guess you did, but now we know about it anyway. Yeah. So yeah, go on. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but the list is coming out.
Yeah.
And that's
okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think that's okay. We've mentioned it once. That's all right. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. EPS. The list is coming out of all that attended the flights. And I think that the reason that they launched these, balloons and stuff, and they blamed it on the CHINA country, was to cover up what was about to be exposed. Actually, 2 weeks ago, they were about to leak the, all 160 plus attendants that visited that, I want to call it that island. I don't want to, mention the name of it, but they were going to release it, and. So that was the reason why they created this distraction. And another reason why they also launched those balloons was because these balloons were filled with chemicals. The chemicals that were supposed to, and the reason they were mainly seen in America, my friend, is because America has most of the ley lines, just like how we have meridians and chakras and energy vortexes within our body, right? We have the 7 chakras and over 300 and something minor chakras, which is what the Chinese medicine community calls the acupressure points. Well, the earth is also like that. The earth also has meridians. They're called ley lines. So we carry the highest concentration of ley lines here in America. As to why that is, I don't know. But these balloons were filled with the type of chemical that was supposed to, that was released, that was supposed to prevent these ley lines from activating. Perhaps the great solar flash was about to take place, and they tried to do everything in their power to prevent it, because they know that when the great solar flash takes place, which is going to be catapulted by the activation of the 12 meridians and the different planetary grid systems, or what we call the ley lines, which is going to totally catapult the 3rd Earth into the new 4th, 5th, and 6th Earth Terra, what we call the new Earth. They were trying to prevent that from happening. So, there was many reasons why they launched those balloons a couple of weeks back, and then of course followed by the aerial phenomena, which was supposed to be the initial steps into creating some sort of fake alien invasion. But Space Force is not going to have it. Space Force is everywhere right now. We are monitoring the White Hats, the Earth Alliance. We are on them like fleas on a light bulb. We're just monitoring everything right now because we're about to expose them. And so, there's, a lot of people are fearing things, or they're thinking that the end of the world is here, but that's just the fake news. That's just what the mainstream media wants people to know. But, bear in mind, my friend, that there are multiple parallel Earths that are simultaneously coexisting. And right now they're all coexisting, but there will be some sort of a timeline split. So depending on where the person is. So those that are in fear, those that do believe in some sort of apocalyptic scenario unfolding, whether it is a fake alien invasion, whether it is, a nuclear war, unfortunately for them, they will experience that reality, because you experience what you vibrate. Your resonance will ultimately give you what you are vibrating with. The level of your own frequency will determine in which, reality you end up in. And that's proven through, quantum physics. So for those that are not fearing, for those that are, holding the light and are experiencing already what they would consider a new heaven on earth, golden age reality, those in the spiritual community that don't buy into the fear porn, they will be shifting into the positive ascending timeline. So there will be some sort of a timeline split taking place pretty soon, and we still have time. We still have time. So remember, the rate of your vibration will determine ultimately in which Earth you end up in. But these Earths right now are coexisting, and soon they will be splitting.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting thoughts about the balloon. I've been thinking and wondering. There's a lot of operations going on both sides, and I wonder at one level if it maybe was a White Hat operation. I can't prove it, but I'm just wondering. But made to look like a dark hat operation. I just wonder. I don't know. It's just a thought. And you said something else after that. Oh yeah, Project Bluebeam. So that's an interesting one. So Project Bluebeam, if you do the numbers on that, that's 148. And like you said, that was cancelled a few years ago. That was nullified. I've said this before on a few shows, but you brought it up, so I think I'll mention it now. 148 is also simple gematria, which is the numbers. It's also Time Traveler. It's also Emmett Brown in Back to the Future. Time Traveler would spelled the American way, I think, with one L. But it's also Donald J. Trump. Now, we know that President Trump uses things that were bad. If he can, he uses them for good. So I wonder if White Hats, because it was cancelled, therefore they cancelled it. It's been stopped. So that would suggest to me that they have maybe that under control or have access to it. And I've been thinking for a while, I wonder, would the emergency broadcast be used and brought into being through perhaps some use of Project Bluebeam? Because biblically, it talks about how people, when the second coming happens, whatever form that is, or when the great solar flare, when we see all of this return to goodness, basically it kind of summarizes and said that everyone will kind of see it all at once. And I'm thinking about that, like, I mean, I don't watch much TV. I've seen it a bit more recently in the hotel room, but I don't really watch it. You don't watch it. A lot of us don't watch it. I like to watch films occasionally. I haven't seen too many of them in a long time. But what would get everybody's attention in terms of a message, a broadcast all at once? Something in the sky. A little bit like Superman. The early stages of Superman, you see all the faces of the leaders of Krypton. You know, you've got Jor-El, Superman's father, and they're all speaking kind of in the atmosphere in the sky. So I wonder if perhaps that would be a great emergency broadcast through Project Bluebeam, which would be under the control of the White House. It's just a thought. And the other thing about it is Project Bluebeam equals 148, as I've said, but the word scriptures also equals 148. So when Q says it's going to be biblical, that perhaps may be one way that it could perhaps be biblical, that the White House could project and have this cinematic thing that no one would ever be able to say, well, I wasn't there, I missed it. You know, if it's in the sky, the whole world would start, they would see it, and you could simultaneously do it, whether it was light or dark, wherever, you know, you could do the whole thing right across the planet all at once. But it's a thought, and it's interesting you brought up Project Bluebeam, so I thought I'd mention that. I don't know if you've ever heard that hypothesis or possibility, but any thoughts on that, about that maybe as a possibility? I don't know what they've got up their sleeve, but that might be an option.
Well, like I said, because there are different parallel Earths that are coexisting simultaneously, in one parallel reality, we could say that could also be the beginning stages of preparing us for first contact with the galactic, alliance and the galactic community. The
exactly.
Our nation. So depending on where you're vibrating, you're ultimately going to end up in that parallel Earth when the timeline shift takes place. So I suggest I suggest for people to not entertain the fear factor at all.
That's it.
For those few people that are going to be in fear, unfortunately for them, they will be experiencing some sort of nuclear war, end of the world scenario, unfortunately for them. Because, we are going to shift according to our vibration, according to our thoughts and our emotions. Our emotional state and our mental state of mind is what I'm saying.
Hopefully that they don't experience that for too long. Maybe it's just more in their thoughts and their mind, their dreams and their mind's eye perhaps. Let's hope. With that scenario, in terms of timelines, with that scenario, if they're in that lower vibration and they are more susceptible to that possibility, would that be before, say, the solar flash event, or would that come after the solar flash event? What do you think about that? If for those people that may be susceptible to a scenario like that?
Well, I believe that the solar flash event is going to be happening right. I think that's what's going to trigger actually the timeline split, where people are going to go into different parallel Earths depending on where their vibration is. So yeah,
The solar flash split or that kind of Armageddon event?
Yeah, no, the solar flash. The solar flash is going to split to the different parallel Earths into different time. Yeah.
Okay. And then after it's split, is that when they would experience that, or would that be a precursor for the solar flash, that Armageddon scenario for people in a lower vibration? Would that be prior to solar flash, or after the Earth is split and after solar flash?
I think that's going to be right before. Oh no, sorry, right after the solar flash. Yeah, because the solar flash is going. For those that are vibrating, that are keeping a high vibration, that have done the work, that are generally even good people. Like I said, you don't have to be a spiritual person. You could just be a regular common Joe Blow and just generally be a good person, and you're going to at least make the fourth dimensional Earth. The only people that are not going into the positive ascending timeline, my friend, are the wicked. The wicked are going to be. So the solar flash is also going to act like an EMP that is going to destroy the AI infrastructure that's already in place, the smart cities that the cabal has been building, the smart meters, the different sentient AIs that Google has already put into place, five golf, all that stuff is going to be nuked. And then of course the wicked are also going to be nuked when the solar flash takes place. And then that's when the bifurcation of timelines takes place.
Interesting.
So some people are going to see it as the rapture. Some people are going to be seeing it as the harvest. I mean, those are two terminologies describing the same event. One person stays in the field, one person leaves. Two people are laying in bed, one person stays, one person goes. It's the same analogy. Yeah, the book of Revelation is a metaphor. It's a metaphor describing the different the different timelines or the split in timelines. When it talks about the rapture and the harvest, it's all real. It just depends on how you interpret it.
Yeah. It's interesting you used the word harvesting or harvest and also Book of Revelation, because President Trump spoke in the week, and there was a few speeches, but then one came through yesterday actually on my email. But he talked about ballot harvesting. And I didn't fully know what ballot harvesting was, so it's basically people kind of going the extra mile to make sure they get the vote. So if there's someone just kind of not really too concerned about voting, but if you make the effort to go and knock on their door, meet them, get them to sign the petition, or even if they're away, you can kind of get their vote. So it seems like it's actually legal. It's a legal thing you can do in some states. So President Trump said that the other side have been doing ballot harvesting, kind of really pushing it to the nth degree to try and monopolize things, but he said that they might need to do that. But the interesting thing is, so I think he was coding, because he's always coding. He's always telling us hidden messages in all of the speeches. So Book of Revelation is actually ballot harvesting, 185, but it's also Donald John Trump. So it's President Trump's full name. It also comes to silver revaluation. It comes to the Book of Mormon. It comes to a lot of things. It comes to World Trade Center. So they were energetically after him, in 2001. You got the great Kubrick film, 2001. So all those things have been put in place, But yeah, ballot harvesting is 185 Donald John Trump. And he repeated it a number of times in the little video clip that he did. So I thought that was interesting that you have mentioned that. Let's put it up here for the exact numbers on it. Yeah, so ballot is 62, which is Nicola. Interesting enough, it's Queen, and harvesting is 123. 123. That's Eric Trump. That's Missouri. It's Abraham Lincoln, and it's also, if you spell out the word 88, it's 123. And 88 is the word for Trump. It's the word for Mormon. It's the word for purple. It's the word for rubidium, the most expensive metal on the planet, just under $1 million a kilo. Anyway, it's interesting you brought that up, because I did those numbers on that just last night when I saw that video. He also said something else which was really interesting. He said they're going to start ballot harvesting. So ballot harvesting is 185 Donald John Trump. Book of Revelation, as you've said. But start is number 78, which equals the word Kennedy. So start equals 78. Kennedy equals 78. In Back to the Future, there's a line, which is the start. There's a start line when Marty goes back in time. But going back to what you said with Book of Revelation, that's the very last book in the Bible. The first book in the Bible, the first book in the Old Testament, is Genesis. And Genesis equals 78, which equals the word start, and it equals the word Kennedy. So when President Trump said they will start ballot harvesting, he's saying Kennedy, Donald John Trump. He's saying Genesis, the Book of Revelation. So he's saying from start to basically finish, the first book and the last book. But this is super interesting, this part, Ismael. When you add them together, start ballot harvesting. So Kennedy 78, 185 Donald John Trump, ballot harvesting. That comes to 263. 263 takes us into the DNA of all the humans, all of us human beings. Greg Braden, who's a great spiritual guy, scientist, he blends, history of many cultures and beliefs throughout time, science, quantum physics. He references a code that's in the DNA of every human, and it's like gematria, it's like the numbers in the DNA, because we know that DNA is code, numbers are code, etc. But the studies that he referenced, they came up with a sequence. When you boil it down far enough, they were actually able to work out a sentence that's in the DNA, and it comes to the phrase God eternal within the body.
Yeah.
God eternal within the body equals 263, which equals start ballot harvesting, which equals Genesis, Book of Revelation, which equals Kennedy, Donald John Trump, 263. And that also ties into when President Trump says the best is yet to come. The word best is 46, the word dove is 46. So he's saying the best is yet to come, the dove is yet to come, the dove, the mothership, descending, the New Jerusalem, etc. But the best is yet to come is 263. Sorry, the best is yet to come is 263. It's 228, correction. But if you spell out the word 2028, because in gematria you can drop the zero sometimes. So if you do 228, the best is yet to come. If you extrapolate that into a possible year, i.e. 5 years into the future, well, nearly 6 years into the future, 2028, you drop the zero, that's 228. But if you spell 2028, guess what value it comes to? It comes to 263, which comes to God eternal within the body, which comes to Kennedy or Genesis plus Book of Revelation or 185 Donald John Trump. Them together is 263.
Makes sense, brother. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've always believed that within our own genetics, we do have the God source, the God code gene. But I guess equivalent to what Greg Braden discovered in his research when he talked about how, it is encoded within our body, that God eternal within our body. That makes perfect sense. It's like the God source lives in our genetics.
Yes.
Which that we are going to be extremely powerful when our junk DNA, what they call the dormant DNA, becomes turned on.
Yeah. That's when we become activate, don't we? Become superheroes.
Yeah. Well, we become immortal. We become, what I call the angelic meta-human. Nothing to do with Zuckerberg's metaverse. It has to do with meta being like above physical, above average, extraordinary human. That's what the word meta means.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're telling us, they're doing that in the films, Spider-Man and the metaverse, the Marvel comic, they're showing us that. And also, you mentioned earlier, you said the word spiritual. Spirit is 91, which is future, which is POTUS, which is Space Force. It's liberty, it's the Father. But spiritual actually comes to 125, which comes to dark to light, which also comes to John Kennedy. It comes to time travel. It comes to 8th Avenue. 8th Avenue in Manhattan is the road, the street that the Tesla Hotel, the New Yorker building that Tesla lived in for 10 years or so. Tesla held the dove. Tesla had the dove, President Trump's got pictures with the dove, the White Dove Society, etc. That's White Dove Society is 207. Drop the zero, it's 27. That's code. JFK equals 27. A plus Z equals 27. But 8th Avenue, time travel, next to the Tesla Hotel where Tesla used to do that with time travel, is 125 dot to light. But it's also superhero, 125. So 125 is spiritual, it's John Kennedy, it's dark to light, it's 8th Avenue, and it's also superhero, 125, dark to light. And if you add 1 plus 25, you get 26. 26 gives you the word gain. It gives you, and it gives you the word God. And you talked about the God source, the God code within us,
Exactly. Well, think about it, my friend. According to the original records, the original oracles, right? If you go back to the ancient oracles of Delphi and the original manuscripts that could be traceable back to Atlantis, they talked about the return of the gods and goddesses emerging from the already existing human race at the end of the 20th century, at the beginning of the 21st century, which is now. They said the original records, that's what they said. And of course, over a period of thousands of years, they were modified by the organized religions who were, as we know, under the control of the Cabal. But it said that at the beginning of the 21st century, that the gods and goddesses of old, the age of superheroes, would once again return and usher in a golden era for the rest of humanity. Well, I've always been saying the premise of all my teachings in every podcast, in my book, Our Cosmic Origin, is that the star seeds are the gods and goddesses that in human form who left their lofty position in the higher dimensions to incarnate in this mortal coil in order to transform it into an immortal physical body, which will totally be more powerful than any AI system because of the fact that we carry the God Source gene. And then one of the things that I mentioned in my talk at the Conscious Live Expo 2 weeks ago was that ultimately the eternal race of Havana, the central race known in many manuscripts, is us in the past. They are us, and they're also us in the future. As we evolve, my friend, and we begin to use more of our dormant DNA, the other 96%, we become more godlike. We become more, powerful to the point where once we get up to 100%, we're going to have access to an infinite amount of power, my friend. And that explains why we on the earth are the most coveted race in the whole cosmos. I don't even want to say in the whole universe. I want to say in the whole cosmos, because even the extraterrestrials that are coming from different parallel universes, they all know that, the star seeds are the ones that are going to be pretty much at the head of all galactic, intergalactic, dimensional, whatever you want to call it. They're going to be the overseers of new universes. They're going to be the ones in charge of galaxies, systems, worlds in the future. And so one of the things that I mentioned in my talk is that for the first time in cosmic history, the central race was able to embody in physical form. And, it had to take the combined genetics of all the different celestial races from all these different universes being put into one genome, so that the central race, the always existing race, which is at a level of reality beyond physicality, could inhabit physical form or could embody physical form. And I've always believed that was us. I've always believed that the star seeds, my friend, are the returned, I want to say positive Anunnaki, not negative. As you know, there was a split in the Anunnaki factions. You have those that follow Lucifer through Enki and those that remain loyal through the descendants of Enlil Sus and the heroes of old. But I believe that the star seeds are the ones that are going to be fulfilling the prophecies of the return of the Anunnaki, the real Anunnaki, not, the ones that are coming from the descendancy, from the lineages that were left behind by the demigods. And, through I guess the different houses of the tribes of Israel, because when you think about it, the enemy comes from the house of what? The tribe of Babylon, which is the tribe of, I think they call it the tribe of Dan. No, not Dan, Canaanites. So the enemies come from the lineage, the tribe of the Canaanites. We are the chosen ones come from the 12 tribes of Israel, whether we know it or not. A lot of the people on this planet are descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. They just don't know it. So that's why I've never believed that the Israelites were those people in Israel. The real Israelites are us. And most of them, my friend, have come to America. The real descendants of the original 12 houses of Israel, or the descendants of Abraham, rather. Makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I know about that. Just then you were talking about, you said 100%. That comes to 155, which comes to the millennium, 155. And there was something else, I'd have to rewind the tape, but there was another phrase you said literally just after it. I can't remember if you can remember what it was, but it came to 155 as well. So it dovetailed exactly with what you were talking about.
That we on Earth are the star seeds are the embodiment of the central race, which is us in the future and us in the past, the eternal race that descended in order to be able to inhabit these mortal bodies.
Yes, it was around then as well. There was exact, and it was also when you mentioned the DNA. So 100% DNA comes to 174. 174 comes to real Donald Trump. 174 comes to trust the plan, comes to currency exchange. It's the first piece of gematria that President Trump and Melania showed when they came down the escalator. I'll have to rewind it and I'll put it in the live chat when I put the video up. But there was a phrase you said and it exactly married with what you said about 100%, 155, and then there was another part connected to the DNA and it equaled the same value. So I was like, it's bang on, yeah. But it slipped my mind.
Perhaps when I was talking about how the original oracles stated that at the beginning of the 21st century, that we would witness the emergence of what they called the gods and goddesses, the new heroes that would usher in the golden age.
Oh yeah, I think there was. Hang on, that was I think something. Yeah, on take away new. Yes, thank you. You got it. So when you said the word, so you talked about these beings when they have 100% DNA would be the leaders, basically, they would create these new universes that they're in charge of the new year. So new universe is 155, which is 100%. So 100% DNA is 174. New universe is S, because S is 19, DNA is 19. So if you do new universe 155, which is 100%, 155, which is also the millennium 155. I want to say singularity, not in a negative way, because you've talked about there's meta and then there's a good meta. So if we say a good singularity, i.e., everything converges in a positive timeline, that's also 155. But if you say new universes and you add the S, that takes you to 174, which comes to 100% DNA, which comes to trust the plan, eye of the storm, currency exchange, real Donald Trump 174. It's the first piece that he had when he came down the escalator. So thank you. When you said the word new, I got it. I was like, that's it. I got it. So yeah. And it's also new trumpet, because trumpet is universe 113. New Jerusalem is the trumpet 146. Ivanka Trump is 146. New Jerusalem, the trumpet. And I met her. She activated me in 2015. From then on, I had my first number experience, and then it distilled into Ivanka. Yeah, Trump's daughter. Yeah.
She's actually Lyran. I think she's Lyran Palladian. She's both. She's mixed.
Interesting. Because there's a girl that I know that she used to work with her. They both used to model on the catwalk. And this girl told me that she was Lyran herself, and she knew Ivanka. So that's interesting. That's interesting. But she activated me when in 2015, and I met her on the day. I met her on June 11th. 11th is 91, which is Space Force. June is 50, America. Eileen, Paul, my cousin Paul had just died a few days beforehand. But June 11th comes to 141, comes to reincarnation, comes to quantum leap. And I felt a quantum leap at that stage. but also it comes from my name, Tom Bushnell. And we met on the 162nd day of the year. 162 is Trumpology, my digital product. But if you add the word day, which is 30, baby is 30, AU plus AG is 30, silver gold. If you add them together, that's 192, which comes to Ivanka Marie Trump. And the photograph we got taken, so her security guy took the picture with me and her. It's on some of my digital, on my social media, people see it. It's on my, it should be on my Telegram and Twitter. People have seen it. I'll put it out again. But behind us was a place called Delmonico Plaza. And you can see it in the background. That word Delmonico comes to 146, which comes to Ivanka Trump, which comes to the Trumpet, which comes to Truth Social, which comes to New Jerusalem. So all those things happened like that instantly. And I didn't know the numerical code connected to the alphabet until 2020. But I did sense a few days later, I met two people on two different occasions with the same date of birth as my cousin. He just died in 118, which is the awakening. That was his birthday, January 18th. And it was by the Statue of Liberty. It's across that water between World Trade Center and Statue of Liberty and Staten Island. And all of that bay is coded to the millennium, to Ivanka Trump, to President Trump, to the resurrection, to Space Force, to the whole thing. That whole area is like a hotbed. New York, I wouldn't even be surprised if there's a spaceship under there. I think there's something going to descend, but I wouldn't even be surprised if something rises up. I don't know, that is a unique place, and that's why it's been attacked so much. It's in many ways, it's also a mirror image of Israel, of Jerusalem, because the new tower they put up, because you've got World Trade Center 185, Donald John Trump, Book of Revelation 185. Building 7 is 143, which is Melania Trump, and both of those went down. And then we look at 16 years later, they become president and first lady, and we know all the rest of what's gone on. 143 comes to Paul Bushnell, my cousin. He just died. That's building 7. That's ground zero. 143, November 5th, the same thing. It's time travel dating Back to the Future. But the one that they put up, I've heard people say it was a bad thing. Yeah, but everything is being changed. So World Trade Center 1 is 34, which is Grace, which is DJT. So DJT, then World Trade Center 185, Donald John Trump, and together it's 219. 219 comes to the Mount of Olives. So there's a metaphor for that, because it says when Christ returns, they'll step foot upon the Mount of Olives and they'll cleave, and you're talking about, the separation and the split of the earth. There's all kinds of stuff. It is biblical, and there's mirror images of it all over the place when you see what the numbers are. The island, Governor's Island, is 192. 192 is Ivanka Marie Trump. The Simpsons have predicted that she'll be president in 2028. 228, the best is yet to come.
Ivanka Trump will be president in 2028?
That's what the Simpsons have predicted. And they predicted President Trump coming down the escalators.
That's
but it lines up. It lines up because Steve Bannon in 2020, I think he did this on Barack Obama's birthday, actually, to give him the proverbial. But he was with a guy from the New Chinese Republic, and they talked about peace for 1,000 years, but described the millennium. And it was all like this. It was like a Magna Carta for the New Chinese Republic. And there's a YouTube video. It didn't get on the mainstream news, but people can see it was there in 2020. They're on a jetty in Governor's Island. Governor's Island is 192 of Ivanka Marie Trump, and right behind is Statue of Liberty, which is 198, which is President Trump. So is it talking about Donald President Trump, or is it a double comment talking about the future President Trump, i.e. Ivanka? We'll see. But the dove is yet to come. The dove is yet to come. 228, and her middle name is Marie, which is 46, which is best, which is dove. JFK was age 46 in 63 when he died, or went into witness protection. 63 plus 46 comes to 109, which is 17, which is the Q, the 17th letter. There's the big Q on his burial plot. Princess Diana, her burial service was recorded at 9:08. 9 plus 8 is 17. Her name, Diana Spencer, equals 17. My channel, Site Club, which I chose in October 2019 before spring of 2020, comes to 109, 17, when you spell it out. Witness, she's a witness. 109. You know, everything's been coded. When you see it, all things on the board in all these different dimensions are all there, you know. Why did I meet her in lockdown? Sorry, why did I meet her in 2015 in Manhattan? Manhattan comes to 92, Numbers, my nickname. They called me Numbers. And then I became Tom Numbers, but my first nickname was Numbers. President Trump said, after my second video with Charlie Ward, great job, Numbers. And on 43 seconds, he names my grandmother, Eileen Wood. He says, I would on 43 seconds. She lived at number 43 most of her life with my dear grandfather, Sydney. And they lived on 43 Dovedale Close. Dove, they were doves. They were two protectors to guide me to this point for my mission and my journey and all of this. Space
I just realized whether you know it or not, subconsciously or unconsciously, my brother, you've always been part of the White Hats, and you are a key player in this White Hat movement.
Thank you, buddy. I feel that now, but I didn't know it. I didn't know it growing up. I did always feel something, but I didn't know what it was. So thank you. And thank you for you being a part of this and coming to the table when you've come. So thank you, buddy.
Yeah, we're all a team. You know, this is where the Galactics and the White Hats, they, you know, have to work together for the best of humanity. Because what happens here, like I said in many other, you know, interviews, will ultimately affect what happens everywhere in the cosmos. So that's why, like, all eyes are on us right now. You know, as I see, huge motherships, biospheres are parked right above our atmosphere, just monitoring anything and everything right before it happens. That's why those unidentified aerial ships were shot down by our own Space Force, because the biospheres, the motherships that are monitoring everything, they knew that whatever's left of the this dark military industrial complex was going to launch some of their advanced craft in order to create some sort of we're all being under attack by aliens. We have to the whole world has to unite under a one world system, whatever. It's baloney, my friend. You know, we have it. It's funny. We have it under control. Like, they know that their time is up, and so I'm excited. I mean, aren't you excited that we're going to be actually, experiencing, witnessing the greatest revolution in human history? You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's always in my head every day. I think about it in my sleep. I'm excited beyond words, and I can't wait for it. So. You talk about the mothership. So the mothership is 164. 164 comes to Mark the Apostle, it comes to Thomas Apostle, it comes to Right Side Blonde, it comes to Jack Edward Aiken Kidd. These are people that I do, done shows with and know behind the scenes. But the mothership 164, the mothership, the New Jerusalem is 179. And add those together, that comes to 343. 343 comes to President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. And so I think I've done shows with Janina, but I feel that he's probably up there like Captain Kirk, on the mothership, doing what he needs to do, waiting for that moment when the dove descends, the New Jerusalem descends, when the mothership does descend. You talk about the dove equals 79 in numbers. Because 46 is best, 33, magic, add together, 33, the dove, or dove magic, 33 plus 46 is 79, which is mother, which is nature. And the mothership is 164. And the New Jerusalem, the mothership, the New Jerusalem is 343, which is President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Like I said, he died at age 46. His brother Bobby, who was taken out as well into protection, but 46 comes to the word Bobby again. President Trump, he was born in 1946. Some say 1945, but 1946. 46 is the atomic number for palladium. Palladium. We're in a palladium. We're in a show. There's the Royal Palladium in London. Palladium is a precious metal. It's one of the precious metals. The atomic number for platinum is 78. We mentioned 78 being Kennedy, being Genesis, being start. Atomic number for silver is 47. John. Atomic number for gold is 79, which is super. The dove, wonder, nature, all those things. All of it's been imprinted since the beginning. We said, we'll sign up for this game. Game is 26 God. We'll come up for it, and it's all there.
You know who's Trump's higher self, or I would say overseer? He overshadows him. He's part of his soul tribe. Saint Germain. Saint Germain. Well, yeah, he's the one who led the foundation 700 years ago when he was Count Rakowski, before he ascended as Saint Germain in Europe. He was known as the mysterious Count. Appeared in all these different courts as this man who just never died, lived for hundreds and hundreds of years, like an immortal. And many believe that he was also Merlin, the guardian of King Arthur. And then if you want to go back to 2,000 years ago, some believe that he was also Joseph. He embodied as Joseph, the guardian of Yeshua. So think about that, you know, the
or Joseph, the stepfather of Jesus.
Exactly. So he now returned as Trump, well, his lower self, Trump, to be the last of the guardians of the constitutional republic of the United States government, which was a blueprint that was carried over by the Knights Templars and initiated back in 14 something by Saint Germain in order to set it into motion so that by 1776 it would become a reality. And if you think about when the founding fathers were about to sign the Constitution, when they were about to liberate themselves from the British monarchy, they were all kind of afraid. They were hesitant. And this mysterious figure, and this is written in a lot of these records, is this mysterious figure that out of nowhere popped into that room and gave a speech which aroused them into freedom and liberty, and they all signed. And then when they looked back to see where this mysterious figure, or who this mysterious figure was, guess what? He vanished.
He's gone.
He vanished. That was Saint Germain. That was the higher self of Trump. Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting you say that about Saint Germain, because there's the Saint Germain Trust with all these, these sovereign funds that will be there for Chisara and Nasara for people. And there's a soccer club, there's a football club in Paris called Paris Saint-Germain. And Ivanka Trump has done, she posts on Twitter, not that regularly, but she does the stuff about Paris quite a bit. And she seemed to be supporting France in the World Cup. She met Mbappe, the player that scored 3 goals in the final, even though he lost. But she's done stuff from the Eiffel Tower. We know that Tesla was one of the designers, with the 4 guys that designed that. Statue of Liberty was linked to Tesla as well, with the design with Eiffel, the guy that did the Eiffel Tower. Statue of Liberty, 198, President Trump. We've got Donald, we've got Ivanka. Who knows, maybe Barron in the future. But yeah, she's got a big thing with Paris. Paris 63. Paris is where Diana went into protection in 1997. 1997 is referenced in the film Terminator 2. Schwarzenegger says that Judgment Day is August 29th, 1997. 1997 is the year of Diana. Diana's death, witness protection, happened on August 31st, 2 days after August 29th. But the interesting thing is when you extrapolate the numbers on that, when you say August 29th, it comes to 261, it comes to 261. Interesting enough, when you do August 31st, which is the day that Diana went, it comes to the exact same value, it comes to 261. So August 29th and August 31st are synonymous in the numbers, they're both 261. So when Schwarzenegger says August 29th, 1997, he's also saying August 31st, 1997, because they're exactly the same values. But the other thing that's interesting about this is August 29th, August 31st, they both come to 261. There's another really important date for someone else going in protection, and that's November 22nd, that's JFK. November 22nd comes to 261. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., so Jr., comes to 261. The United States of America comes to 261. You said that America was the blueprint from ages ago, from all time really, for this better system and better life for everyone. The best is yet to come comes to 228. 228 comes to United States of America. It comes to the dove is yet to come, 228. All of it's connected, my friend.
It is. I'm excited, brother. I think we're about to finally get some justice worldwide.
Yeah.
Sometime it's coming.
you'll also like this, because I know you've got to go, so we'll wrap up. But so when Diana in Paris, 63, you've brought up Paris Saint-Germain. Well, you've brought up Saint-Germain. You've got the Paris Saint-Germain soccer team. Paris, the tunnel that Diana was in is the Alma. Is it Point Alma tunnel? Alma, A-L-M-A. Alma comes to 27, comes to JFK, comes to Code. And you'll probably remember this, but it's the middle book in the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon is 185, Donald John Trump. Book of Revelation is 185, World Trade Center is 185. City of London's 185. So it's the tale of two cities. You know, you've got the two cities in London. You've got Westminster. Westminster's 165, Christ's bloodline, resurrection. Diana supposedly buried in Westminster Abbey. Westminster Abbey's 200. Just 50 yards away from it, there's Abraham Lincoln, 1, 2, 3, a statue of him facing Parliament and bearing down on a bus stop with the letter Q. It's a Q bus stop. And the 88 bus goes past the 88's Trump. But then 200 is also Mount Rushmore. Rushmore is 117, which is Jackie Kennedy. Rushmore is 117, which is Fifth Avenue, where President Trump's tower is there. Trump Tower is 169, the Great Awakening. So everything all circumvents it. They all come back on each other. There was another piece I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was now. But what was I saying 3 sentences before that? What was it? Just as I started, what did I say?
Something about America. You were talking about Princess Diana, Westminster.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, that's it. Yes. So the Book of Mormon. So that's it. So the central book in the Book of Mormon. And why has the Book of Mormon become characterized in popular culture in the last few years? You know, the play. It says, I love Mormon on the back of the buses here in London. It says, I love Trump. 88 is Trump. 88 is Mormon. There's a reason I have an origin in that. I don't affiliate with it anymore. I don't need to, but I understand the numbers. I understand the good parts of it. I didn't realize it got corrupted like everything else, unfortunately. But the good people in Utah is a special place. It is. But the central book of the Book of Mormon is Alma. Alma is 27, JFK. And where did Diana disappear? In the Alma Tunnel in Paris. Paris is 63. JFK. JFK was on a Friday, November 22nd, Friday it happened. Friday 63. Friday 63. We had them together as 126. 126 comes to John Connor, Sarah Connor from Terminator. It comes to 107. It comes to the Bushnell, if you want to take it further. But atomic silver 47, atomic gold 79. John the Dove 79, the Dove, add them together as 126. 126, and that's where it happened. And if you do 1 plus 26 again, it's 27, which is Alma, which is JFK, which is Code. Everything all comes back on itself, buddy. You know, they're time travelers. You know that. So exactly. And you talk about the Knights Templar. Before we go, you brought that up. I did a code on JFK and the Knights Templar earlier, just as I was coming back on the beach to see you. Here we go. What is it here? So Knights Templar is 173, which is also a voice modulator. Mm-hmm. There's also Ghostbusters. That's the Ghostbuster building in Manhattan. Manhattan's those numbers. This is really interesting. Okay, so I worked this one out. So JFK's birthday is 1917. So the year 1917, President Trump kept talking about the Spanish flu of 1917. It was 1918, but he always does it deliberately mistaken because he's referring to when JFK was born. In Back to the Future 2, when Biff got the Sport Almanac, Sport is 88, Trump. Almanac, I think, is it's either I think it's 55 JFK JR. I think I need to check. There's another JFK code of that, but the winning result is 1917. The sport result on the radio. Radio is 47, John. But 1917, if you do the numbers on that, it comes to 195. 195 is the power number that 107 talks about in terms of the other physics. Other physics is 165, the resurrection. Well, resurrection, I should say. Christ's Bloodline 165, the Visionary one, on President Trump's painting 165. But if you do, Christopher Nolan has come out with a new film, Oppenheimer, in the summer. He's a white hat director. Christopher Nolan's 195, which is the other physics. That's 1917. But JFK was born 1917, May 29. Now, the day of the year that is, that's 149th day of the year, which comes to, 149 comes to Kingdom of Heaven, which is the return of the dove, the New Jerusalem. That's what that is. But then, when he took himself out in 63, guess what day he did that on? November 22nd is the 322nd day of the year. It's the skull and bones number. So he went like that, and he disappeared, just like all the others did, JFK, Diana, all of them. But the difference between those two, the number of days, so if you take 322 days and you take away 149 days, you're left with 173. 173 is Knights Templar, and it's also voice modulator. And so that's how a lot of the technology, with Master and all the rest of it, and interdimensional and time travel, all the rest of it. But a voice modulator is 173, and Knights Templar is 173. So I think all of us, we're all part of this, buddy. Knights Templar throughout time, JFK, Trump, JFK, Diana, Ivanka, all of them, you, me, Mark Atwood, Janine, Juan, all of us, Jack Kit, we've all been doing this. We've all been part of this family throughout time, and that's why we've risen up now. One final
showdown, but this time it's going to be our victim.
Exactly. You talk about the showdown. I put it out on Twitter a few weeks ago, but someone sent me a video of a film. There's a TV show in England called Red Dwarf. It's long gone now, but it was a BBC production. I never resonated with it when I was younger. BBC's production is like that, kind of a bit too close to there. There was always a bit of a weird feeling. But anyway, that show, Red Dwarf, comes to at 79, the dove. And there's a bit in there where they're fighting the virus, this computer virus, this game. And they need the antidote. Antidote's 88, Trump. And guess what the antidote is? They've all been shot off except for one guy. It's like a Wild West Cowboys, but it's a simulation. It's like these computer cowboys, baddies against goodies, dark hats against white hats. And the white hats are all going, but then there's one left, and he pulls out the guns to shoot the baddies. And out of his holsters come two doves. And the doves they're the antidote. They destroy the computer virus. And then they go back into their bodies like the Matrix. And they're like, the game's over. But it's the dove that is the antidote to everything in the system. It's the good thing. That's why it's the sign of the dove. That's why Christ with John the Baptist. That's why Trump has been pictured with the dove. That's why Tesla had the dove. That's why Marie is 46 dove. That's why JFK went in 46 dove. That's why Bobby 46 dove. It's all of those things. President Trump was born in 46. 46 is a super important number because it's the word best and it's the word dove. And doves are the antidote to the bad side of the system. Yeah.
Yeah, well, in Christianity, dove is the descending of the dove. It's translated as the coming of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the dove. Exactly.
And you talk about that's the Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost is 129, ISMAEL Perez. The Holy Ghost is 162, which comes to Trumpology, my product to teach the numbers. And I met Ivanka Marie Trump, Marie 46 dove, best 46. And I met her on day 162 of the year. Day 162 is the Holy Ghost.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Numbers are a way to predict the future, decode information, and really it's amazing the way everything is gematria, right? Everything is encoded with numbers.
Yeah. But gematria is 74, Jesus, 74, Messiah, 74, Yeshua, 74 with the apostrophe, Muhammad, 74, all the children of Abraham. I'll get this, Abraham Accord is 88, because Abraham is 88. Sorry, Abraham is 44, A chord is 44, and together is 88 trump. But Abraham Accords is 107, which is trumps, which is Superman, which is military, which is quantum, which is eternal life, which is everything's done quantumly. You know, it all adds up. It all adds up, brother. Well, how can people find you, buddy?
They can find me on Instagram, Project Restoration Zion, or just type in my name, Ismael Perez, under Project Restoration Zion 1. I'm always constantly giving updates as to like what's going on.
Do you still have your website? Is that still there?
I do have my website, or cosmicorigin.com. And then if people want to access my new book, what I could do is I could actually give you the link that goes directly to the new edited version, or the new edition. That has been completely restructured. It reads much clearly. And then, of course, I did add a new chapter, which kind of ties into what happens after the ascension, very prophetic. And I'm also teaching a online course for those that want to know about their starseed origin, what kind of starseed you are. We go over chakras, dimensions, cosmic galactic history. I give you the link for that as well, for those that want to sign up. The course starts in about a week in March.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'll go ahead and give you my links, brother, you know.
Send them and then we'll put them below. Awesome, buddy. Well, good stuff, man. Have a good few weeks. I'll see you soon. God bless you, and keep up the good work, man.
You too.
And Ascension's 99 and Patriot is 99. So there you go.
Beautiful. I love it.
Spider-Man is 99. Judgment's 99. Jupiter's 99. So physics is 99. Other physics, 165. God bless, my friend. I'll see you soon. Thanks, Ishmael.
Chẳng được quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em đã quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu. Không gần mới em anh nhận màu. Anh chỉ cần mơ đâu em bay. Chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá. Cho bên mơ em không mơ ai. Anh một đêm mơ. Chỉ cần bên em không được cần nhớ. Và chỉ khôi không muốn nhớ. Và người ta bên nhau như ngã tớ. Muốn nhớ về say em chỉ quên với em ở đây. Và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mãi mãi. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu. Không em như nằm mơ mộng. Anh như đang mong cầu. Và mưa bên em hút sầu. Cha có mãi mãi để mà mơ. Chỉ có bên em nhưng đừng có mơ. Em vẫn đang dài. Em muốn bên ai. Anh không mong gì hơn. Chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau. Và đừng em đâu anh có em. Một đêm bên anh có em. Ta sẽ trao nhau môi hôn thật sâu. Ôm anh.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror. So foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me. And honestly, I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything. So I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, have to be a better me. I don't think that my head's on straight. Gotta flip it and grip it and go and get an x-ray. What's wrong with me? I just feel weight pushing on my chest and it squeezes till I suffocate. Better change my mindset, meditate. It's pretty cool that I'm alive and have better days. I could walk, see be here, I should celebrate. Think I could change my mind, maybe elevate. Living life, everyday, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days. I'm kinda stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I work hard or live at my pace? You're only young once, yeah that's all great, but I also want a future where I'm okay. Living life is doing lots of cocaine. Wait no, it's living with no shame. Wait no, it's sleeping in on Sundays. I guess it's different for each of us and that's okay. Well I just wanna be happy, how to get there? Glad that you asked me. I think it's different for everyone. Some of us need work, others need fun. Some of us need purpose to overcome. But try to do what you love when it's said and done. Cause there's so many differences in each of us. Trust your gut, it can show you what you want. Living life, everyday, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.
determined your fate. I've never seen so clear. I feel the end and it's near. The day of reckoning's here. The sound of deafening fear. You won't die if you try. You just might get a little bit of trouble. K-O-I-F-E, right in your side. You will never see me coming. You won't die if you try. You just might get a little bit of trouble. K-O-I-F-E, right in your side. You will never see me. My energy is next level, so damn you better be careful. I got an angel and devil, he snaps me straight in the temple. I'm ready to be a rebel, I've got a lot of potential hidden inside of this vessel. That shit is so exponential. I need a first class ticket to the top, no limit. I don't play no gimmicks, I'ma take you to the clinic. If you want a taste, come at me and you will be replaced. They won't find a trace of you anywhere